At the beginning of Egghead, there was a certain matchup that many people wanted to occur, and that was Sanji and Zoro versus Kizaru. So in this video I'll be discussing it using all the feats that we've gathered to determine whether the wings of the Pirate King could really take down the Admiral Kizaru. But before I get into the video, if you guys could like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated, as I am very close to 1,000 subscribers and I'm like literally I'm very close, and I'd love to hear before the end of the month. Plus, if you guys like and subscribe, you'll be able to see more amazing content from me, so it's a win-win. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get into the reason you're really here. Let's delve into Sanji and Zoro versus Kizaru. Now before I actually simulate the fight, I'm gonna have to obviously go over their feats, so first of all I'm going to start off with Sanji. Now this won't be a complete Sanji overview, as I do have a video coming up on Sanji's overall strength, but here I will obviously glance over his feats and give what's necessary to this video. In Egghead, Sanji has been shown to completely obliterate Light and blitz it not once but twice. Also, it's shown here that he can just straight up block Light, which is very impressive. And to be honest, this isn't really too much of a stretch, since he has taken Fishman Karate head on with no damage, and he has also broken the sword of a Yonko commander without even looking, or being on guard I should say, so his durability is very high. For AP, Sanji is criminally underrated, and I'm just going to let my past self take over and just explain this. So past so you take this away.
So since OT tanks a way stronger attack, and this actually upscales Sanji massively. Mind you, this attack was from an enraged Big Mom who decided to fuse her two summons together, meaning the attack was considered stronger than anything she put out on the rooftop and up until she went into Big Mama mode. Using his Queen statement, and obviously him being stronger than her by a bit since he is an all-star, I can say that Sanji does have the AP to put the work in on Killer.
This would make him incredibly strong, and it is consistent since he is able to destroy Light with a singular kick, which is very impressive. In terms of speed feats, Sanji is very impressive, and this is his strongest suit, as he's able to outspeed Light twice in one arc, and he's also levels above Marco, somebody who is regarded well for their speed. And when I say levels above, Marco wasn't even able to disappear from base Queen's side. Sanji was able to disappear from hybrid Queen's side. This makes his movement and reaction speed crazy. For endurance, Sanji is taking an attack that would kill most Armored Haki masters, and all he did was just shrug it off. Well, I mean, he didn't really shrug it off, but he put himself back into place. Another boost for his durability, he was able to tank a Kizaru attack off guard and got back up and was fine. I mean, look, later he wasn't even bleeding. Now obviously he does have regeneration as well, but it isn't on the level of the Gorosei or Marco, but it is very good nevertheless. Lastly, Sanji's battle IQ is impressive, as he's able to think of strategies and tactics on the fly. Overall, Sanji is an incredibly underrated fighter, and you'll get to see why later on. Next up is Zoro, and his feats are very easy to understand. Just like with the Sanji one, I'm gonna obviously do a whole video breaking down Zoro's strength, but here I'll give you little tidbits so you can obviously just gauge where Zoro's strength is. Before obtaining Advanced Conquerors, Zoro was able to hold back a double Yonko attack for a moment and then Scar Kaido directly after. But when he unlocked his Advanced Conquerors, his AP grew massively, and this is where he was able to 3-shot a Lunarian. And in Egghead, once he had activated his Conquerors, he was able to take down Lucci very quickly. Now in terms of speed, Zoro may not be the best here, but his reaction speed makes up for the lack of movement speed, because while not being able to see King, he was able to react to King and then land an attack on him. Another great thing Zoro has under his belt is his endurance, as he was able to take a Thunder Bagua while basically done. He took a double Yonko attack, then scarred Kaido, and then took a Thunder Bagua. Do you know how insane that is? And here he wasn't even able to block it, he just took it head on. So as you can see, it takes a lot to put Zoro down. Zoro's battle IQ is pretty good as well, as he was able to figure out King's weakness while also trying to sort out Enma, which is pretty impressive. So overall, Zoro is a very competent fighter. Finally, their opponent is Kizaru, somebody who has fought Yonko and their commanders, which means he has a lot of feats we can go over. In his first appearance in the series, Kizaru fought Rayleigh and was looking really good against him. While Rayleigh was gassing out, Kizaru was completely fine. Kizaru has shown the ability to damage characters like Whitebeard, Luffy and Marco, but where his true power comes from is his speed. Kizaru is widely accepted as one of the fastest characters in the series, as he did blitz post 1 on Luffy and obviously was keeping up with Gear 5. Plus his whole gimmick is about being fast, so yeah.
Kizaru's endurance and durability is kinda underrated as the community doesn't really understand that he was mentally nerfed during all those fights on Egghead, so I'm gonna sit here and explain it to you guys. First of all, he tanked his star gun and got up later with no wounds. He only stayed down because he didn't feel like doing his job. It's quite literally right there in front of your face. Shortly after this, while off guard, he took a Luffy attack straight to the face. And it wasn't any Luffy attack, it was a Gear 5 Haki attack, so it was serious. I know you may think, oh, but Lucci was taking him. Yeah, but Lucci was on guard. This is off guard. And lastly, he took that symbol attack really well, considering he wasn't even trying to fight Luffy at that point since he killed Vegapunk. Not once has he ever complained, and when he obviously was asked about his injuries, he said he was talking about his mental state. He wasn't talking about his actual physical injuries, which makes Kizaru pretty durable and his endurance is pretty good. For his battle IQ, he did outsmart Gear 5 Luffy, but then again, it's Gear 5 Luffy, so. But he has shown a few things here and there. Kizaru is a pretty smart fighter, so he knows what he's doing while in battle. And overall, that makes him a really tight fighter. He is what a top tier should be. And with his analysis done, this allows me to segue into the 2v1. Now to begin, let's set the fight on Egghead since this is where it would most likely happen. Now I'm immediately going to address the elephants in the room. Individually, Kizaru would bully these two because they have weaknesses that he can exploit. Now between Zoro and Sanji, I think Sanji is the way better matchup for Kizaru purely because of his speed. Now obviously Sanji's speed can only do so much since he is kind of just, if you want to say it in a vacuum, he kind of is a worse version of Kizaru. I think aside from lacking AP, I think Sanji would lack hacks against Kizaru since Kizaru has so many different hacks that he has. Next is obviously Zoro, and Zoro's glaring flaw in this fight is his speed. But when you combine these two together and put them on a team, they erase each other's flaws and they're able to work at max power. So with that being said, let's actually simulate the fight. Now immediately Zoro and Sanji would take this fight extremely seriously since Kizaru is someone they have a past with and they know what Kizaru is capable of. So Zoro would immediately put on his bandana, no questions asked, and Sanji would flip his eyebrows almost immediately. Now first of all, they would immediately realize how fast Kizaru is, which means that I think Sanji would probably have to go up and fight Kizaru while Zoro is then waiting for Sanji to give him an opening. Now in the beginning of the fight, I think this would be a perfect tactic to land the first hit on Kizaru, and after that, this is when Kizaru would probably have to be like, alright cool, I'm not taking these guys lightly. With Zoro landing a big attack on Kizaru, I think this is when Kizaru would obviously try to activate his clones, but I don't think these clones would be an issue if they're only dealing with the clones. It becomes an issue when they have to deal with Kizaru and the clones. Personally, I feel like he'd aim for Sanji so he can get rid of Sanji's speed and then he can then deal with Zoro. But the two would probably just team up, keep Kizaru away and destroy all the clones. Now I know there's a whole little like debate going on whether Zoro and Sanji have bad stamina right now since they're still new to their power-ups, but I just think it's because there was at the end of the arc and Sanji was fighting the whole raid, Zoro was basically fighting the whole raid. Like, they're gonna be tired at the end, so like, just give them some slack. But with that being said, I can see the two struggling against Kizaru. Even as a duo, I can see them both struggling, but I think they would edge out the win. Now, I say this because of Zoro and Sanji's endurance, along with Zoro's AP and Sanji's speed. If they use that well, they should be able to take down Kizaru. As stated before, it takes a lot to put Zoro down. Like, it takes a lot. And for Sanji, it's trying to get past his exoskeleton. Now, I'm not saying that Kizaru can't. Kizaru definitely can get past his exoskeleton, but it's the fact that once you get past it, you then gotta get rid of his natural endurance. On top of that, taking Zoro's devastating attacks and Sanji's attacks here and there, I think Kizaru would probably start to slow down and then, you know, they would start working him. I think it's an extreme diff fight for the duo. I can see an argument for Kizaru winning, mainly if you think that he can take out Sanji quick enough to then go and deal with Zoro. I think the fight is totally up to how you perceive how Kizaru would fight those two, but I think if it was a fight in Egghead, I think those two would work together to obviously eliminate both of their weaknesses, allowing them to use their strengths and then deal with Kizaru. But trust me, this isn't an easy fight. Like, these two struggle against Kizaru. Like, it's not like a straight easy match. But yeah, I have Extreme Diff going it to them, or if you want to argue, Extreme Diff going to Kizaru. Okay, so brief drops while I was editing, and I thought, you know what, I might as well just throw this in here. And I think it just hammers down on my point of saying they could take it Extreme Diff, but I could see Kizaru taking it. So just for everybody out there, me personally, I can see it going either way. I'm probably gonna say Zoro and Sanji, mainly probably because of favoritism. But if you want to say Kizaru wins, I don't have a problem with that. I can actually see that. But yeah,
That's just my little quick intermission here. I don't mind either one. And if you disagree with my points, then that's fine. You guys can argue it down in the comment section. I don't mind replying, it's fine. I don't think they're going to be showing us much in Elbaf, but if they do, I will update this video since I do like this sort of discussion. I think Zoro and Sanji, when they're working together, are a dangerous duo. I think they can take down a lot of people. But I think the hardest thing they're going to get over is Kizaru's hacks. That's the only reason I haven't said this is like a high diff fight. I think Kizaru's hacks with his clones, especially his clones, is going to make this hard for them, but I think they should be able to get over it if they can work together, which I know they can. But yeah, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have different opinions, please comment down in the comment section. I will debate with you guys. I don't mind that, that's fine. Just don't make it turn toxic, because I know how these things go. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.